Hello everybody and welcome to episode 3 on my Great Guitar Build-Off entry. It's been a while since my last episode, I think about 2 months, and so this video really is kind of 2, maybe 3 videos in one, and it's pretty last minute. I still don't know if I'm even going to get it uploaded, as I'm currently in my new house without internet, so I'm hoping I can phone a friend to help me upload it on their internet, but we'll see. Check the date, see if this uploaded on time. If I miss the deadline, then, well, too bad, but at the end of the day, the guitar's built, so that's what I'm happy about. Spoiler alert, it does get finished in this video. Here I'm just doing the neck. This was probably early this month, so all of this was done really in the first 2 weeks of June. Most of this footage you're seeing, from the neck building to the finish on the guitar, most of that was done, and it's final assembly really that was done in the new house, which I am currently filming from. Well, not filming, but recording from. This is actually, speaking of recording, the second time, because I got to the end of recording my first voiceover and then my software crashed and it didn't save a backup when it crashed, so here's hoping that the second one doesn't crash, because otherwise I'll have done 30 minutes of cancelled voiceovers. Anyway, more on what's actually happening. I got the neck to thickness, widthways, or not widthways, depthways I guess, and here I'm doing the facet technique of turning the neck into sort of hexagon, octagon cross sections, and then just filing to make it round, and then you do that the first position, then sort of 12th fret, as you can see as I've got here, and then you join up those 2 positions in the middle, and hopefully you have a neck profile. It went pretty smoothly. It was one of those jobs which I was concerned about and felt a bit out of my depth, but when I actually just got going on it, I realised that I knew how to do it. You know, I've seen enough videos and read enough books on guitar building that when it actually comes to it, that information does stick a lot of the time. You know, a lot of people say that you can't learn from videos or books, you just have to do it and then you learn, and I do agree with that to an extent, but I consider how many years I've watched, you know, various guitar building YouTubers before I even worked on guitars, and so then when I go into carving a neck, it's almost like I've done it before even though I haven't. So there's definitely a lot to learn, but don't get me wrong, I learnt more from carving this one neck whilst doing it than I probably learnt from any amount of hours of videos anyway, and this probably took 3 or 4 hours to do. So the best thing you can do if you want to learn how to build guitars, as I found out from doing this, is just building them. But videos do help. Getting that knowledge does help, but you learn a lot more from making a mistake than you do from doing it right, as I learnt with this volute. The final guitar does not have a volute, but I did try and make a volute. I have guitars with volutes, I know how they look, I know how they should feel, but it's kind of hard to know exactly where they go, and so when I went into this, it's hard for me to sort of imagine it in 3D space, just when there's a lump of wood that you have to carve out of, and so I ended up really just blending the headstock into the neck, which looks fine. And I was considering not going with a volute anyway when I started this, but I thought it might be fun to try carving one, but yeah, there wasn't really one, so hopefully I don't drop the guitar. So I mentioned that this episode was 2 or 3 you know, put into one, but it was also done pretty rushed, and that's all thanks to moving house, which makes it difficult to to build a guitar. But you know, despite the house move, despite having to pack up my business and unpack it at the new house, I made sure to get this damn guitar done. And yeah, who knows if I get the video up, because as I said, I don't have internet, but here's hoping it does get put up before the deadline. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun journey. I'm sure a lot of you guys watching have taken part or have built guitars, and it's been fun. And knowing that other people have been involved in it too, and a lot of people, whether they're, you know, lifelong guitar builders and woodworkers, or whether they're building their first kit guitar, you know, it's been trying stuff new. I think that's one of the big things is people in this, I don't want to say competition, because it's not even, I don't even think it's a competition really, it's more of a challenge to yourself, because I don't think many people are going into this going, oh, I'm going to win, because it's sort of out of your control. But nonetheless, I think, you know, no matter where you're at, everybody's gone into this with something new in mind, something fresh. And this guitar, to a lot of people who build guitars, might not look anything special. There's nothing on it that screams being that unique. But, you know, I've never built a neck before. I've never built a body from scratch before. I've never done a lot of this. I've never bound a fingerboard as I'm doing here. So it was a lot of new things. And yeah, as I said, this guitar might not look that unique to, you know, to just anybody, but to me, you know, from a piece of wood to this, there's been a lot of steps that have been new for me. And yeah, I think whatever point you're at with your building, this whole competition or challenge has been great for people to try and push themselves to do something they wouldn't usually do. And it sounds tacky to say that, but now I've gone through the competition and done it, and I can look at the guitar that I built at the end of the day, I think, yeah, no, that does make sense. It does hold true. It's not just saying something cheesy, you know. Speaking of doing things new and maybe a bit different, I decided to finish the rosewood fingerboard. My main reason for doing this was that the binding would wear because it's not proper inlay material. In the end, I had to sort of scrape the oil finish off the binding, but we'll see how that survives after I put a few hours into the guitar. But the fingerboard looks and feels great. So I, in terms of the long-term impact on rosewood of sort of, soaking it in oil, and rather than just leaving it natural and putting fingerboard oil on it when it dries out, I don't know how that will hold up. It's kind of a test. If it all goes wrong, then so be it. You know, that can be my problem. But it's so unconventional to finish rosewood and ebony. I can only think of Rickenbacker, which do it, and they do it with lacquer, which doesn't really get into the wood like an oil does. So I think it'd be interesting to see how it holds up. And here for the finish. If you want to know more about the finish on this body, I recommend going and watching my episode 0, where I go over a little test piece I did and how I finished that. It's almost identical to that, except in that I don't think I had the clear coat over it, and I just used an oil finish. But it's a nitro primer coat, that white primer you saw go on, with a pearlescent or metallic, I can't remember which now I think about it, but I think it's metallic, enamel paint. It's actually a car paint, like if you go to Halfords, where you get all the car colours. So it's some of them. They're my favourite because you get so many cool colours. And also I feel like it's almost a callback to vintage Fenders, because they were all old colours that cars were. So you could have your Chevy Coupe DeVille and your Fender Strat in the same colour, which I think is pretty cool. But either way, I don't think many cars have the sparkle finish on, but that's what I then added to the top of this. Because why not? Who doesn't want a blue sparkly guitar? Well, I want a blue sparkly guitar. Now just scraping the binding off, and yeah, despite well, we're also in the new place, as you might be able to tell from the flooring and the lighting and whatnot. It survived the journey, which was nice to see. I was a bit worried, but we have it. And here's that oil finish again on the body. I did the cavities with shielding paint, of course, and here's just levelling the frets off and polishing them all up. It was kind of weird doing that job again. Polishing frets, levelling frets is something I do every day, obviously, because I'm a guitar tech, and I haven't done it in ages because of the move. And because I work from home, I had to, shut the business down for a while whilst everything gets sorted out, and especially we downsized, so you need to get rid of a lot of stuff. And it was weird doing it. It kind of felt like, I don't know, hard feeling to describe, but it was something I do, every day and hadn't done in ages. So when I got back to it, it sort of felt foreign but so familiar at the same time. Anyway, to polish this off, I used that beeswax spray. I don't even know what brand it is. It's really old, and I just found it somewhere. I don't even know where, but it's really lovely for that kind of satiny sheen. I was going for a high gloss, but it is what it is. I at this point I didn't have time to do coats and coats of oil finish, so we got more of a satin finish. But it smells lovely, and it gives a really smooth, silky feel to the whole guitar. And here is final assembly, really. Putting the control plate together. For those who weren't there or have forgotten, the controls are pick up on and pick up off. Phase for both. So when the pickups are both on and you press the phase one, it switches the phase of the pickups. And then the other one is parallel in series. So again, when both pickups are on and you flick that, it goes from wiring them in series, which is how... wiring them in parallel, which is how like a Strat would be, or a Telly in the middle positions, or in the in-between positions, to going in series, which is it's sort of how a humbucker works. So a single humbucker has two single coils, and they're wired in series. So it gives a bit more of a mid-rangey kind of sound in the series position. Anyway, yeah, it's final assembly, all coming together nicely. Pretty much all of this from moving house was done in one day, apart from the finish, which had to be left overnight. And it's time to string it up. The nut slot is still quite high on most of the strings, because it was at this point about getting the guitar done. This was all done yesterday, so from when I'm recording this voiceover now to when I did this, it's one day in between it, so it's pretty rushed. And this video should be up later today, so yeah, all right down to the wire. Just putting the strap buttons in now, those final touches. It's still in need of a setup, but I'll get round to that when I get round to it. And yeah, here's it done. I forgot to put the knobs on it at this point, but it's got some witch hat knobs, which you'll see. And then we'll get to a little sound demo. It's not got a pickup sound demo, I'm afraid. It's just acoustic, because, as I said, this was done very quickly. But it's a very resonant guitar. The neck and the body ring out really nicely. So yeah, you hear that now. So thank you very much for watching, everybody, and congratulations to everybody who's completed their build as well. As I've been saying, I don't like to say it's a competition, it's more of a challenge, a personal challenge. But that being said, I look forward to seeing who the winners are and who the number one winner is. There've been some amazing builds, so yeah, I definitely haven't seen them all, but there's going to be something great. So thank you very much.